Florence the Machine, NPR Tiny Desk Concert. We're back. Let's do the whole thing. It's going to be beautiful.
The show was ending and I had started to cry. Woke up in Chicago and the sky turned black. And you're so high, you have to be an angel. And I'm so high, I can see an angel. Your heart beating in your chest. The world slows till there's nothing left. Skyscrapers look on like great unblinking giants. And those heavy days in June when love became an act of defiance. This time, I admit, felt it really start to slip. And choirs sang in the street, and I would come to you to watch the television screen in your hotel room. I'm always down to
How big is the audience? I thought it was a Tiny Desk concert. So this song was written after the shootings at the Pulse nightclub. Huge emotions happening in this song. I'll read through the lyrics. The show was ending, and I'd started to crack. Woke up in Chicago, the sky turned black. You're so high, and you're so high. You have to be an angel. And I'm so high, I can see an angel. I hear your heart beating in your chest. The world slows till there's nothing left. Skyscrapers look on like great unblinking giants. In those heavy days in June when love became an act of defiance. Yeah. When love became an act of defiance. You were broken-hearted and the world was too, and I was beginning to lose my grip, and I have always held it loosely, but this time I admit I felt it really start to slip. And choirs sing in the street, and I would come to you to watch the television screen in your hotel room. I'm always down to hide with you. And plays off. Hold on to each other. You're so high, you're so high. I'm so high, I'm so high. I can see an angel. And it's a celebration of life and atrociously defiant love. The fact that love needs to be defiant. But about holding on to each other and reaching higher than Earth itself. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Oh, so it's about 200 people at NPR that are watching. That makes sense. I mean, if Florence Welch comes to if Florence the Machine comes to your workspace to do a concert, I assume everyone would be there. Yeah. What a beautiful song. I love the intensity she brings. I mean, she's always we watch a lot of Florence. We talk a lot about Florence Welch here. And it's the intensity she brings to everything she does. And Rune, based on the fact that she writes all of her lyrics, I would say, you know, she truly feels every lyric. There's no compromise in that.
I'm always down to hide with you.
That's a good goal.
Hold on to each other. Hold on to each other. Hold on to each other. Hold on to each other.
It's, you know, so the chorus is that, and the chorus is and it goes back between that and you're so high, I'm so high. And if you were to boil this song down to ideas, those are those ideas, right? And the verses are vignettes of this defiant love. These vignettes of her experience when she probably found out about the news, right? The show was ending. I had started to crack, woke up in Chicago. The sky turned black. You were heartbroken. The world was too. And I was beginning to lose my grip. I'd always held it loosely. Sharing the experience of the news, right? You can't, as musicians, our job is to reveal the world, reveal the truths, the human truths in the world, right? We're not journalists. We don't tell the stories as they are, but you unveil the truth from an emotional perspective, using the medium of sound, the medium of the true, free, and expressive human voice. So in the wake of an atrocious killing of multiple people, a public murder, an execution of those who are already persecuted in the world, you can't help but being impacted. Remember there was like 2018, 2017, 2018, 2019, shooting after shooting after shooting after shooting. I remember the Sandy Hook killings happened an hour away from where I was at high school at the time of those shootings. And quite frankly, like it's something that makes you sick to your stomach, and we can all empathize. No matter who we are, we can empathize with the disgusting nature of that kind of occurrence. And you can see all the headlines, and the headlines make you even more disgusted and sickened. But when an artist can share that true emotional perspective, like Florence's in her lyrics, in the verse of this song, she shares that perspective. I felt it really start to slip. Choirs sing in the streets. I would come to you to watch the television screen in your hotel room. I am always down to hide with you. This intimate scene she's painting for you. For us as the audience, right? But the message to take away is too obvious to ignore. Hold on to each other. You're so high, I'm so high. I can see an angel. That's a hopeful headline, right? It's an emotional, hopeful headline that doesn't turn the story into anything it's not. But she shares her perspective and gives you a message of hope. And at point blank, that's the impact of this song in the wake of horrible public atrocity.
You're so high, you're so high. You're so high, you're so high.
Hi, Cosmic.
You're so high, you're so high. You have to be an angel. And I'm so high,
High
I'm
as
so
hope.
high. I'm so high, I'm so high. I'm so high, I'm so high. I can see an angel.
Keep it going. Keep it going, Florence. Plus the machine. She is the percussive instrument.
Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star. And I have to tell you something, I'm still afraid of the dark. But you take my hand in your hand, from you the flowers grow. And do you understand? With every seed you sow, you make this cold world beautiful. She told me your doors are open to the believer. I believe her, I believe her, I believe her. She told me your doors are open to the believer. I believe her, I believe her, I believe her. Patricia, you've always been my North Star. Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star. Well, you're a real man, and you do what you can. You only take as much as you can grab with two hands. With your big heart, you praise God above. And how's that working out for you, honey? Do you feel love? Do you feel love? Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star. Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star. I drink too much coffee and think of you often, in a city where reality has long been forgotten. And are you afraid? 'Cause I'm terrified. You remind me that it's such a wonderful thing to love. 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 It's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I couldn't. That was a train that once it started going, you can't get off it. But there's a lot to talk about. Rune, it's about Patti Smith. It's all the loving bits. The angry bit is about toxic masculinity. I mean, that sheds a lot of light actually on the poetry. But I wanted to go back to something you said. She embraces her whole percussive instrument as well, right? The body is a percussive instrument. And in the last song, she was also clapping. But even deeper than that, and you know this, we've talked about this, is how she uses her body as an instrument. Everything she's doing, she's running, she's expressing. The entire energy she brings to her physical being translates into her voice and how she sings. And it's one of the most engaging parts about her performing, which makes her one of the most engaging artists to watch and listen to and experience, is that she can run and dance and jump, and it comes across in her voice. And as you said, Horacle, you can hear the smile in her sound, right? No surprise there. And she facilitates that dopamine spike, right, Yop? I mean, this music is so joyous. And even if it's a condemnation of horrid acts and bringing light to the terrible things that happen in the world, it's so enjoyable. Enjoy your pizza. It's, yeah. One of the beautiful ways that this music is composed, I don't know about their process, and I know if she writes the lyrics, I'm sure it may be, I don't know if it's a collaborative compositional process or if she writes that on her own, but they do something akin to, there's a bel canto era composer named Rossini, and he had a very formulaic way of writing music, but one thing that was very stylistically iconic of his music is the way he wrote crescendos. And one of the ways he did that was by adding texture. Instead of telling the musicians to play louder, he would compose by adding layers, and that's how you would get crescendo. They're doing something, and he would also increase tempo. So it wasn't about volume. The crescendo became this emotionally exciting event based on the adding of layers in the music and the increase of speed. And that's exactly what we get here, especially in the last, it's a wonderful thing to love. It's such a wonderful thing to love. Such a wonderful thing to love. And the tempo starts to increase, and she's clapping to add that pulse underneath it. That's that, that train that you just can't get off of. And it gets faster and faster and faster, and the harp starts playing arpeggios to match the rhythm of the clapping, and it just becomes this chant, this mantra. It's such a wonderful thing to love that you can't help but fully believing because of how the music is sending that message. She writes most of the lyrics alone. For this album, she went into the studio alone and clapped on walls and played on her piano to get the basic sounds, to get the bass sounds, which someone else helped her translate into the instrument. So it was like an experiential compositional process, right? Det ikke herik ha. No, I don't even know. I don't even know what that means, whether. Crescendo that isn't about volume, but by adding in layers, yeah, is the favorite. David Bowie does something like that in Cat People, but it was, yeah. But it's a really, that's based, but that's the formula behind it, right? So crescendoing with texture and crescendoing by adding elements, that's the structure that creates that unbelievably captivating event in the song, that climax that goes to the end. Let's look at the lyrics for a second. Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star, and I have to tell you something, I'm still afraid of the dark. You take my hand in your hand, from you flowers grow, and you understand with every seed you sow, you make this cold world beautiful. She told me all doors are open to the believer. I believe her. I believe her. I love that. Rhyming believer with believe her. She told me all doors were open to the believer. I believe her. I believe her. When you're singing, it's hard to differentiate, but it's the deeper meaning is so clear. But Florence's diction is so good that it's intelligible. Patricia, you've always been my North Star. You're a real man, and you do what you can. You only take as much as you can grab with two hands. With your big heart, you praise God above, but how's it working out for you, honey? Do you feel loved? She told me all doors are open to the believer. I believe her. Do you feel loved? She told me all doors are open to the believer. I believe her. Oh, Patricia, you've always been my North Star. I drink too much coffee, and I think of you often in a city where reality has long been forgotten. Are you afraid? Because I'm terrified. But you remind me that it's such a wonderful thing to love. And then the train goes. Yeah, that's the angry bit. The angry bit being, are you talking about the "You're a Real Man" stanza? Yeah. Patti Smith's music, I'm not so familiar, but it's clearly that she's been a huge inspiration for Florence. Yeah. So she did all the harmonies on her album as well. But it's a wonderful homage. It's a really wonderful homage because it takes her story. Oh, and Patti writes books too. She's a writer of all kinds, of all media, right? It's a story of it's paying homage to the story of an inspiration for her, right? And then it celebrates the gift that, I mean, the way I'm interpreting it is, you remind me that it's such a wonderful thing to love. It's such a wonderful thing to love, and the way that they musically compose those lyrics is, that's the take all. If you're to take one idea from the song, it's that to Florence, Patti Smith reminded her how wonderful it is to love, and then they compose that into a mantra that you can't help but getting carried away with, right? Yeah, I'm Cosmic. I'm gonna get this whole stream clipped up as soon as possible, prioritized. So I'll be posting them as soon as I can. At the very least, I'll post them in the Patreon for you guys as unlisted links first, and then they'll go public eventually. But yes. So, yeah, absolutely beautiful homage to Patti Smith. The toxicity, you're a real man, you do what you can, you only take as much as you can grab with two hands, with your quote-unquote big heart. I'm putting the quotes there. It's not actually in quotes. You praise God above, but how's it working for you, honey? Do you feel loved? It's not condemning toxic masculinity. It's public. It's causing you to think, as a man, as a straight man, or whoever. But it's asking you the question. It's asking you to dig into yourself and ask those questions. which is much more powerful, I think, than just a blanket condemnation. But that's the power of amazing writing and amazing music. And then it's such a wonderful thing to love. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Oh, man. Let's get a little bit more of this mantra going, and then we'll continue.
It's such a wonderful thing to love. It's such a wonderful thing to love. It's such a wonderful thing to love. It's such a
A whole body instrument. Percussion. And they're all perfectly together with that. They're watching her as she increases the tempo. And they're all increasing tempo together. They're all intensifying together. They're all in sync, believing it in their music. Rune, this is such a good one. This is so good. Keep being awesome, Cosmic.
Thank you.
Thank
No,
you.
it's good because we all had 2 hands for clapping.
That's so cute.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I'm sorry I'm shy. If this was like a big gig, I'd probably be climbing all over here and like running around. But
Yeah, no doubt.
very nervous. But thank you so much, and thanks for being here. Okay, this one, we haven't practiced it. It could be terrible.
Do it live.
Especially for you.
Oh, man. Get that coffee. Probably tea or water.
Don't touch the sleeping pills, they mess with my head. Dredging up great white sharks, swimming in the bed. Here comes a killer wave to sing me to sleep. Thrashing the covers off, has me by its teeth. And all my love remind me, what was it that I said? I can't help but pull the earth around me to make my bed. And all my love remind but pull the earth around me to make my bed. And all my love remind me, was it that I did? Did I drink too much? Am I losing touch? And I build this ship to wreck, to wreck.
The absolute, like, uncovered joy and celebration of true love that has been all of these songs today. From the four baritones to Taylor Momsen to Poets of the Fall to Florence the Machine, I cannot help but be completely enraptured. Like, if there is a state of mind that helps you enjoy and fully experience mindfully the music that you are performing or listening to or at, it is that feeling of pure connection with the world around you. And that is a rare feeling to have, and I'm probably going to crash like hell after this. But that's indicative of the theme, Rune, that you present, and I thank you for that insight, because that helps understand these lyrics a lot more. But this is from an older album about a drunken night and how they wrecked her house after a tour. After a tour, she had difficulties coming down from the high of touring, and that emptiness that she felt led them to that experience, right? If you learn how to properly be in love, the sky's the limit. Not even emulate. I'll change that word to just be. Because you don't have to fake it. Don't touch the sleeping pills. They mess with my head. Dredging of great white sharks swimming in the bed. And here comes a killer whale to sing me to sleep. Thrashing the covers off. Has me by its teeth. And my love, remind me. What was it that I said? I can't help but pull the earth around me to make my bed. And my love, remind me, what was it that I did? Did I drink too much? Am I losing touch? Did I build a ship to wreck? To wreck. Did I build a ship to wreck? What's with the long face? Do you want more? Thousands of red-eyed mice scratching at the door? Ooh, that's gruesome. And don't let the curtain catch you. 'Cause you've been here before. The chair is an island, darling. You can't touch the floor. It's that playfulness. It's beautiful. And my love, remind me, what was it that I said? Can't help but pull the earth around me to make my bed. Did I drink too much? Am I losing touch? Did I build a ship to wreck? You know, think about all the work that goes into making good music. And the fact that they didn't rehearse this. They're worried of messing it up, whatever. But there's nothing messed up about this at all. They're in sync. They're artists. They are there together. They've built this ship that is their group, that is their tour, that is their music, their albums. Everything they've built is together. Did I build it to wreck? Because what that does is when you come off of that high of a performance, I've never been on tour, and I've never experienced that kind of grandiosity in curating music, but a run of a show in opera is very similar in the sense that you are putting everything you can into each performance for a week or 2 weeks or however long the run goes. And, it's exhausting. By the end of it, your voice is shot, maybe. Not completely shot, but it's exhausted. Your body's exhausted. You have been experiencing the rush and adrenaline of being in front of people creating music for, however long it is. And there is always, where that high ends, there's always a drop. And then some fall into bad habits. I was trained in school to develop post-performance habits to avoid that type of destruction and desecration. So I have a routine afterwards, but you don't need a routine. You just live your life. When you create music with people, it's such a high. It's such a dopamine rush. it's like you work so hard to create your music and then you can explode when it's over. Dealing with the difficulties that come after touring, it's emptiness, right? Yeah, thank you for those 550 bits. And also thank you for all of the subs that you're gifting out to the community. To Raptor and Mila Bolotto and Saleh and Fox and Noman and Marita and Raptor, thank you for paying it forward and gifting a sub to the community as well. Garmakash, thank you for the 3 months. Glad to have you here, and thank you for getting Fox in here as well. Yeah. I cannot have enough badges in the Patreon stream. That's funny. That's great. No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really appreciated. But what's beautiful about this is, though this song is about crashing that ship they made post-tour, then it's still a celebration. It's still a beautiful thing, and there's no sadness. And I cannot be remiss to mention Isabella, the pianist and backup singer, keyboardist and backup singer. Take care, Rune. We're almost done, so you're not missing too much. But Isabella is an absolute fantastic musician, singer. Like, there's no better voice to be there to support Florence's voice. They have the same wonderfully light-free, released sound, flutteriness. She matches her phrasing perfectly. What amazing, and she's pretty featured here in a really wonderful way. Let's listen a little bit just to those voices interacting. We talk about duets all the time, and what makes a duet special. Let's talk about it. Completely in sync. Taking the higher harmony. Because Florence has such a... Taking the higher harmony. Nice. Taking the higher harmony, right? But matching the phrasing absolutely perfectly. Now, it could be because they probably performed a lot together, but they've also likely... She's a good listener in the moment. That's what's happening, right? She is a wonderful in-sync musician. The connection on stage, the connection in the studio, in the performance space, is allowing her to match Florence's phrasing, match the sounds she's making, match the vibrato. This is incredibly difficult to do, all while playing keyboard. Absolutely top-tier, world-tier musicians. And I was drawn in incredibly by the way she's singing these phrases, taking that upper harmony to Florence's mezzo soprano. Really, really stunning. Really, absolutely stunning. And the world is coming in fast, and all my love remind me, was it that I said I can't help but pull the earth around me to make my bed, and all my love remind me, was it that I did I drink too much, am I losing touch, and I build this ship to wreck, to wreck, to wreck, to wreck. Did I build this ship to wreck, to wreck, to wreck, to wreck? Little jaw wiggle. Love
Did
it.
I build this ship to wreck?
Stunning. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Rune, thank you so much for bringing more Florence and the Machine into our lives.